Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Oh My Brain.
Oh, my brain.
Oh My Brain is designed by Bruno Cathala and Theo Rivera, and it is published by 25th Century Games.
All right, so this is Oh My Brain.
Oh My Brain. Look at her brain.
Oy vey. All right, so this is a game where you're on this camping trip, right? And you're sort of happy, there's a little campfire going on, but you are being attacked and harassed by these zombie animals. Happens every time.
All the time.
This blends in perfectly with my shirt, almost.
It does.
So what you're trying to do is you are trying to play these cards on top of a stack, and trying to make it so other players can't play their cards, because as soon as they can't play their cards, they have to lose a brain. But they're going to do the same thing to you. They're going to try to make it so that you can't play any of your cards. So there's kind of this idea of getting rid of your cards as fast as possible. If you're ever stuck with cards, you're going to lose even more brains. So yeah, let me give you a quick overview of how to play. All right, we're going to learn how to play Oh My Brain. So there's a large deck of cards over here. What's going to happen is at the beginning of each round, we're going to draft our hand of cards as well as what they call our cemetery. So what's going to happen is 3 times you're going to be dealt 3 cards. One of those cards you're going to put in your cemetery. 2 of those cards you're going to put in your hand. Then once again, you're going to get 3 cards. 1 in cemetery, 2 in the hand, and then 1 final time. So now you've got 3 cards in your cemetery, 6 cards in your actual hand. You own all 9 of them, and you're trying to get rid of all 9 of them as fast as possible. But you can only use the ones that are in your hand to play. Now, the goal of the game is to be the person with the most amount of those brain tokens when the game ends. So you're trying not to lose any. There's 2 ways that you can lose brains. First of all, if you ever need to play a card to the middle pile there, the campfire pile, you're going to lose a brain token. The other way that you can lose brain tokens is once one player gets rid of all 9 of their cards, the round is going to end. And for however many cards you have left over when that round happens, you're going to lose that many brains. And then we're going to start a new round where everyone gets 9 cards again. At some point, one person is going to run out of those brain tokens. When that happens, the game is going to end immediately. What's going to happen is you're going to count up all your brain tokens that you have left over, and whoever has the most amount of brain tokens wins the game. If there's a tie, both players win. So that's kind of the overview of the game. As far as actually playing it, what's going to happen is one player is going to start by playing a card to the campfire pile. All right, the next person in turn order has to play a card higher than that. All right, so let's say we want to play a 13. All right, so it's their turn. They're going to play a 14. It's our turn. We're looking at our hand, and we're like, you know what? None of these are over 14. That's not good. We're going to have to go ahead and lose one of our brain tokens. So we're going to discard that. And on top of that, we have to draw new cards. We're going to draw 2 off the deck. One's going to go into our cemetery. One's going to go into our hand. So you really want to leave yourself some options, because drawing those cards is terrible. All right, let's draw some of these cards. Go into our hand. All right, so what's going to happen is we're going to get rid of this campfire pile. And we're going to start a brand new one. Let's start one here with a 4. All right, the next player, they're going to come back. They actually have 2 cards. They have 2 cards that match that are in the next turn order. So they're going to play a 6 to the campfire pile, but also they can force us to take a 6 as well and put it into our cemetery. Well, you know what? It's our turn. We have the same thing. We have 2 9s that can fit perfectly there. We're going to play one of them into the campfire, and then we're going to put one of them into their cemetery. All right, so for the first time, we actually have a hand with less than 3 cards in our hand. What we can do is we can draw cards back up from our cemetery. So that's how we're going to get rid of our cards in our cemetery. Get rid of the cards in our hand, so that now we have room in our hand of cards to use them. Now, the cards do range in value from 0 to 19, so keep that in mind. 19 is the highest one you can play. No one can play after that. But you saw earlier there was a card that had kind of a pink background. Cards that have a pink background have some kind of special abilities. So I kind of want to go over those with you. This is a mosquito. This is a 0 card. Whenever you play this, it basically can be played on top of anything. This is kind of a wild card. So even when someone does play that 19 card, this can go on top of it and effectively restarts the pile. All right, so next up we have the spider. The spider, basically, the next person can only play a card less than an 8. So this is kind of like a reverse card almost. So instead of playing a card higher than this, you have to play a card lower than this 8. All right, the next one here, this is the 11. This is the mouse. After you play the mouse, discard the campfire pile, campfire, it's hard to say, discard the campfire pile, and then you refill your hand the normal way and take another turn. So this is a great way to kind of get out of jail and restart your hand. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is a lot of the cards will have this die symbol at the top. Whenever you see that die symbol, it's going to give you a chance to roll that die over there. There are basically all kinds of good things that can happen, and sometimes some bad things as well. You might get a chance to steal a brain token from an opponent, or gain an extra token from the supply. Maybe swap your hand with another opponent or your cemetery. There's all kinds of wild effects that can happen with that die. That's really all there is to the game. You're trying to get rid of your hand of cards as fast as possible so that you can refill it with your cemetery cards as fast as possible so that you can get rid of your hand of cards so you can force other players to get rid of tokens.
Okay, so you know I'm a sucker for this thing that I'm about to talk about when it comes to games. You know what it is, right?
I know.
Okay.
Do they know?
I really like fun boxes and games. Okay, right, like it opens and there's like a little story. Do you see that? Open here, right, and the box is in here, but it's in there so snug and tight. So guess what? They push up there, put a button there, so you can just push it out. How cool is that? I was like, look, open up, and it's right here. Like, do you see this?
I feel like Vanna White.
I just really like that a lot. I know it has nothing to do with the gameplay, but gosh darn it, when there's so many great games out there, you really got to beat them out with presentation.
Yeah, so speaking of differentiating yourself, this theme is wild. You've got these zombie animals, right? And but the thing is, they're kind of cute. They're not scary. They have a kind of like a spooky, cutesy kind of vibe to it, which I know when we were playing with our 5-year-old and our 9-year-old daughters, they were like apprehensive about it when we kind of pitched them the idea of this game. Oh, there's zombie animals. You're playing these cards or whatever, and they were like, I'm not into that.
Yeah.
But then once we started playing, they're like, oh, these guys are cute. And also, I just like how they give you some kind of special powers. Some of the monsters or some of the animals give you powers, some of them don't.
Yeah, so that is really cool, the special powers, because that's how it becomes even more interactive. So the whole goal of the game is to try to get rid of your cards, and these cards interact with that. So there's cards that let you give your cards to other player, or you get to start a new campfire without any negative consequences. So it just becomes super interactive besides just playing right off of each other to try to have the highest number. It gives you something more to do, and it gives you a bit more strategy of what to keep in your hand and what to keep in your upcoming deck and what to play when. So I really liked those powers and how it made it a more interactive game.
Yeah, I mentioned our kids already, but they wanted to play this again right away. As soon as we played it, they loved it. They
apprehensive, and then do it again.
Let's do it again right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a strength of a game like this. It's pretty simple, right? And it's also pretty quick. And if you're wanting to play it again right away, that's a good sign. It's a good mark. And we did too. We wanted to play it again as well. We were like, let's do it. We're ready to go. So as far as a family game, this is gonna be a kids game, but it also has like this kind of gamer game mechanics. It's reminiscent a little bit of a game like, let's say, The Mind. But instead of like a cooperative thing, it's a competitive game where you're trying to mess people up. So playing those cards sequentially in a way that kind of trips up other players. So it's all those buckets: the family, the kids, and gamers as well.
Yeah. So here's one of the things that I think is good about this game that I really like when games can do. I really like it when a board game can get into the market of people who are already doing something. So we live in the Midwest, which is people just play cards and play cards all the time. And so I really like that this game is a card game plus. So like if you know people who really like Rummy, this is a great game to introduce to them, to let them know that they're also board gamers, even if they don't know it, because this game will show them that they like Rummy plus. They like that card game plus. And I think that this game does a great job at that, of introducing people who might already be just naturally playing cards all the time to the board gaming hobby.
When we first got this game, I was a little apprehensive. I didn't know what it was about. I don't like spooky stuff. I didn't, the package was a little, it was weird, right? This is an unconventional box. It's an unconventional theme.
I know, it was great.
Definitely unconventional title to the game. So I didn't know what to expect. But, as soon as we were playing it, I had this idea, like, this feels like a Bruno Cathala, game. This feels like the kind of game that would be into. And I was like, oh, look, it is. It is. Which, there's more than meets the eye here. This has an interesting theme. It's got an interesting package. But the gameplay itself is believe it or not, a good time. You know, it's fun and it's interesting, and you're really thinking hard about what to save back in your graveyard, what to put into your hand, so that when you're able to pull them up, you're able to make those combos and kind of really get rid of cards quickly. There's also a little bit of chaos. The dice kind of introduces some interesting things as well as those special abilities. But overall, this surprised me. This surprised me how much fun I had with this game because I was not expecting to like this game. But I ended up. It's a good time.
Yeah. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. If you enjoyed what you see, consider leaving us a tip or buying us a cup of coffee. Link down below. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
Yes, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.